Hi, NGK here with a review of Into the Breach by Subset Games, creators of FTL. I'm going to announce it right from the start. This game should be featured in many lists of the best games of 2018. Normally I review a game, then move on to the next. I have too many games to review to linger on a single one. However, this once I find it hard to quit, and I will attempt to explain why. Enter the Breach is a single-player, turn-based tactical game, and it successfully renews the whole genre. It completely crushes the competition. I feel sorry for all the other tactical games released a bit before or currently in development to be released soon. They are now all outdated, because Into the Breach plays like a puzzle game in which each move is extremely important and can make a monstrous difference on the battlefield. And the controls are fairly simple. During the player's turn, each mech can move once and shoot once. Before diving deeper into gameplay details, I will talk about the story. If you follow my videos, you probably notice that it's very rare that I talk about the story of a game. That is because I mostly don't care. However, what I'm most interested in are narration methods that are specific to the unique media that are video games. And here, we are facing one of these interesting situations, and we can thank Chris Avallone for that. He's known to be the writer of Planescape Torment, Fallout New Vegas, KOTOR 2, Prey and others. Into the Breach is a bit like Pacific Rim. In the near future, there are big monsters attacking, and humans are defending themselves by sending in battle mechs. Add to this a temporal mindbender as in Edge of Tomorrow. At the end of each mission, success or failure, the pilots jump in time bridge to save another parallel dimension. The implications are terrifying. Does it mean that each time a player fails, they leave behind a doomed planet? Human settlements even have a bubble speech to say when they are distressed or celebrating. Then some pilots each suggest different explanations from their personal viewpoint. Not something heavy-handed with cutscenes, just a few lines of dialogue here and there that inform on a few details of the background of the game. The question becomes, do the alternate realities already exist and we need to save them all? Or does each jump create a new alternate reality? In any case, the players bear the weight of their failures, and it contributes to the fantastic apocalyptic atmosphere of the game, between the music and objectives consisting of defending human settlements. The graphics are not amazing, but they are very clear and easy to read, and it's much better to look at than FTL. What the game is truly extraordinary is its game mechanics. I'm not sure where to start my explanation, as there are so many systems supporting each other to form a perfect clockwork mechanism. Let's start with the aim of the missions, as I mentioned before, to protect the cities. For all intents and purposes, the cities are the health bar of the player at the top of the screen. As a consequence, combat is not just about annihilating the opponents, but also constantly taking into tactical consideration the different structures to protect, which makes things both more complicated and less repetitive from fight to fight. To hammer things further, each mission also features bonus objectives such as killing or protecting a specific target, accomplishing a specific action. Missions rarely feel the same. Our mechs have a few life points, and the pilots can die, but health is replenished at the end of a fight, and the mechs can be used by an AI if the pilots die. You just lose their individual bonus, which means that the player can mostly focus on the objectives, and sacrificing mech health or pilots is not game breaking. Players are never in a situation in which they are thinking, my campaign is over, I might as well delete the save and start a fresh new run. Conversely, the situation can completely change from all to nothing at any time during any battle. We are now about to discuss the heart of the game, which are very elegant game design choices that might sound simple, and yet they change everything. The first point is that, at any given time, the player has a complete overview about what the enemies are about to do. The game communicates very effectively any given parameter to the player. You just have to mouse over something to get additional details, such as the number of damage or the move order. So the players constantly have any information they need to read the situation. All you have to do is to take decisions. The second point is, attacks have a tendency to displace units, and this little detail is going to change everything. We are not just hitting enemy troops, we are pushing them to protect a target, moving them so they attack each other, making them fall in lava, and so on. And with some skill, chain reactions to optimize the damage output. Each mech has a different type of attack, moving enemies in a specific direction or not, with sometimes potentially an effect on itself. The possibilities are vertiginous, and at each turn the aim is to find the optimal sequence of actions to kill as many enemies as possible while losing as little as possible while accomplishing secondary objectives. While we can always undo a movement, once an action has been taken, such as shooting, we only get the chance to rewind or turn once per battle, so beware if you make a mistake in the sequence. Sometimes, moving a robot first will risk putting it into a dangerous position where another mech can kill it, so you should have done it the other way around. And sometimes it's too late. Your heart is pounding like crazy when you realize that you are going to lose everything because of a small positioning mistake. Any lapse in focus has dreary consequences. I am coming back to the idea that every single decision, every single move has an incredible impact on the flow of the game. It's the best tactics game that I've played since ever actually. I will add a small detail. As the game is geared towards protection, the aim is not necessarily to eliminate the enemy army. As per general rule, after 5 turns the enemies will flee, which means that you can win a fight just by playing it like a puzzle, pushing enemies around without killing them. This will make the fights shorter and more fun and intense than many similar games, and it gives a welcome chance for status effects to shine rather than just damage dealing attacks. Here, dealing raw damage is not always ideal. If behind the target you will hit something friendly and decrease your own life. Talking about shorter, this game is doing something fantastic. It's a roguelite. There are 4 islands to capture, plus a final battle. If you fail, you start over a new run in another time breach. Except that those 4 islands are not obligatory. You can dim it enough to lodge the final battle after only 2 islands out of 4. The game's difficulty is adjusted accordingly. This has several consequences on the game. First, you can finish the game in about 1 hour. Short sessions are entirely possible, but it's up to the player, because if you want, you can play for longer to reach the more destructive potential of your mechs thanks to the upgrade systems, or play for longer to unlock some achievements. Achievements are deeply rooted in the progression system because they give resources to buy new squads of mechs. These systems created a thread to follow to play the game over and over, each squad playing differently and proposing its own achievements. Now we can finally talk about the semi-negative points. The first semi-negative point is that from one run to the next, you only get to keep 1 pilot. Nowadays, roguelites have a permanent progression system, much more advanced than this, allowing players to receive advantages for playing. Here this is not really the case and it can be troublesome for many players, but this is definitely not blocking for the game to be great and enjoyable. Just keep in mind you only keep 1 pilot, for the rest it's up to you to get better. The second semi-negative point is the difficulty. Many are complaining that the game is too easy because you can quickly win your first runs. Actually, this is not a serious issue, because the more you play the game, the more your objective is not just to win, but to unlock achievements. And most importantly, there are several difficulty modes to choose from. Easy is truly easy, and then normal and hard are much more challenging, with more enemies, as well as more dangerous enemy types. The real issue could be that achievements can be obtained in easy mode, which would detract from the challenge they are supposed to pose. However, it remains very accessible for everyone to play, and I must admit that I appreciate that almost each of my runs is potentially rewarded. I feel less like the game is forcibly wasting my time, like some roguelites do. But in any case, finishing the game in hard difficulty remains very challenging. Thus, in the end, this was not really a negative point. Each player can adapt the difficulty according to their own personal sensibilities. We are drawing to the conclusion. I had a lot to say about this game, mostly gushing over its systems. You should know by now that this game has become a personal favorite and I heartily recommend it. Into the Breach earned its good reputation. It's a little gem. The more I play, the more I love it. At the start I thought that it would become repetitive, but the different squads and achievements keep spicing up each new run, and I feel that in the tactics genre there will be a before and an after Into the Breach. It's a major game, purely exceptional, the kind that are few and far between and mark an era, and renew a love in video games. I hope you enjoyed this video, bye bye!